Hey there, welcome to Eve News, Sports, and Weather. I'm Mike Azariah. This is Kita, who does not want to be here. Goodbye. And it is August the 18th, 2025. When you're as old as I am, you start to go every time you figure out what year it is. And let's get right into it. Now, I got some notes here. Alliance tournament's coming up in 2 weeks. Now, that's a big thing for me. I love watching the Alliance tournament. The preliminary matches will be in August and then going into September for the finals. For some gamers, they look at it and it's a bunch of graphs going like this and ships way off in the distance that you can't focus on very well unless the cameraman is right on his money. But it's the theory crafting that I love. This is shades of other games, Warhammer battles and that sort of thing, when you have to build your army before you ever put it on the field. You have this many points, you're going to put this, or you're going to go with this tank or that. Eve tournament is the same thing. It is a chance to see people make the decisions, the rock, paper, scissors decisions that say, this will beat most, but we pray that they don't bring that, because if they bring that, we may blow up really fast. There is espionage, trying to figure out what people are going to do, second guessing, bans. There's all sorts of things going on, and I will put a link down below for the page that has the general rules, the dates, and all that, and a link so you can see how many points and how much each ship is worth. But basically, the theory crafters, and I know that every fleet has a couple of people who are just theory crafters. Every team are going to be trying to work out, this is what we bring for this is what we bring for that. We're good enough that we can bring garbage fit arrangements for the first couple of rounds just to get through, but not to relay too soon what we plan on doing in the finals. There are people who are planning that far ahead and are dogging it in the early rounds, just hoping it is the skill of the pilots and the amount of practice that they've done that gets them through, regardless of how good a ship they have or how good a team or composite. Some teams are so famous that they're already pre-named. There's tinker teams that are really hard to crack, just repairs going all over the place. There's a Minmatar Rush, one of my personal favorites, which is just damn the torpedoes straight in, hit them with everything we got, and overwhelm them before they can even slow us down. There's people who bring ECM teams who just try to lock down the opposition to the point that they can't aim a single thing, can't hit a single thing, and win just by erosion, it almost feels like. Not exactly the most thrilling thing to watch, but if they crack or if somebody beats that lock for just one turn, the whole thing can fall apart really fast. Like I said, I love the theory crafting. I love thinking about what kind of group I would bring. And quite a while ago, they did have a couple of streamers put together a team, went in and streamed their, or after the fact, streamed what each individual saw as a competitor. And I love that. It's like having the cameras on F1 cars in Monaco, see the track from the view of the vehicle. It's so cool. And that's why I love this Alliance tournament. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not playing in it, but I can admire a sport from a distance without actually feeling the need to go out and play it. Rugby leaps to mind. Uh, the Minmatar Rush triggered a memory for me. As you may know, I do quote poetry occasionally. And forward the light brigade into the valley of death rode the 600. Quite often that's what it feels like, where they just go charging in and they watch ships dying left and right as they're charging in, just trying to nail home that kill at point blank range. It is a charge of the light brigade, and if you look up your history on that poem, the poem's good, the reality was a lot worse. Ugh. So where was I going to go from there? Yeah. uh, the MER came out this morning or yesterday. I think maybe yesterday by the time you see this. But that's a monthly economic report. It's a little late this week. They didn't say why, but it is a snapshot of how trade is going, how things are selling, how who's doing all the mining, who's doing all the shooting, and just gives you a general overall climate of the game to a certain extent. the geniuses that sometimes read this. I saw a comment in Reddit. Can the smart people please put some comments down? Tell me what I'm supposed to think. I totally get where that guy was coming from because sometimes I feel the same way. What's the detail that leaps out to the people whose lifeblood is reading things like the MER? What is the key thing that they saw? Me, I look at it for general. I look at the ISK velocity. I look at where the mining is happening, how destruction is going, a comparison of the overall imbalance of faucets and sinks. In other words, is how much more ISK is there in the game at the end of the month compared to the beginning of the month? How stuff being destroyed causes a little stuff to go away, but generally we're always having more. This game is, I don't want to say creeping up like inflation, but to a certain extent, that's the best word. There's always more ISK in the game than there was in the previous month. Wonder if that's ever not been true, that we've actually managed to destroy, lose, pay enough taxes for it to be a negative growth for a month. If anyone knows, let me know. I'm curious about that. On to the weather. Uh, big change, not big changes, but some small changes here and there. A couple corps again seem to be shutting down. Some are growing, and I wish they weren't, but I don't want to get into that yet because I really don't want to get hunted down yet. I was ranting about it in Rookie Chat. If you're there, you may know what I was talking about. But Initiative gained 449 as a coalition. Karma Fleet as a um, pardon me, corporation gained 151. The violence happening in Nullsec, it was K6K16 with 672 ships blown up, 176 pods. Low-sec, it was Abazon, 417 over 371. And in high-sec, it was, as usual, JITA, 591 ships, 240 pods. Now, I mentioned this last time, and I'm going to add this into the weather on a regular thing. Most NPC kills, in other words, a system where ratting was being done the most, in this case was Golf 96 Romeo TAC Foxtrot. That's in Vale of the Silent, which I checked and is fraternity space. 43,461 NPC ships blew up in the past 24 hours. Wow. I'll leave you to figure out what may or may not be going on there. But I did notice that Vale of the Silent held like 4 or 5 of the top 10 for NPC kills. So there's a lot of ratting going on in that area. But other than that, it's at the 8 minute mark. And of course, I always try to keep these things under 10 minutes. I hope you have yourselves a good one. I will talk to you in about a week, maybe less, because, hey, I'm trying to keep this weekly. But to your health. A buddy of mine was in Mexico and said, "Boy, that Cerveza company makes a lot of the beer down here, don't they?" For those of you who don't speak Spanish, Cerveza is Spanish for beer. You have yourself a good one. Later, Gators.